Okay, hey, it's Drodio, CEO of Storytell. I am just showing you how I'm using Storytell to build Storytell. And one of the things that we're doing is we need, as an engineering team, we need to help Storytell understand itself. And this is a little bit meta, but Storytell as an AI platform doesn't necessarily realize what it's capable of. And we want it to be as great as possible at helping users every time they interact with Storytell. So we need to educate Storytell on itself and make it aware of itself. And in order to do that, we need to improve the system instructions. In order to do that, I need to have a way to tell Storytell to go learn about itself. And so you can see here that I've got a prompt and I'm saying to fully understand the capabilities of Storytell, first look at linear data. So what is this linear data? Well, this linear data, I'll go ahead and click on the label here from the message, and it's going to open up my project knowledge. And in my project knowledge, now it's constraining it to everything that has the label linear data. And we can see that everything that has that label is things like the completed issues. So this is an export from linear of our engineering issues. So from the linear system, which is like it's like Jira, like our trouble ticketing, like our engineering ticketing management system, we have exported a CSV of all that into Storytell, and we've labeled it as linear data. We've also exported all jobs. So jobs are jobs to be done. This is the way that our users use Storytell. We use linear to also understand that. It's a whole other conversation about how we use Storytell to like understand how users use Storytell. Anyway, we've exported that as well. So, and we've tagged that as linear data. And so I'm saying use the linear data to understand what we've shipped and how our users are using Storytell, then read all our documentation. Now I also am going to update this because for whatever reason, Storytell was not able to go out and read documentation. I think there's something on that site that is causing it to not be crawlable. So I got to go fix that. But what I did in the meantime is I just loaded a documentation into our Google Drive. And that actually gives me an opportunity to show you what I'm about to do next, which is to say, go review, and I'm going to say Storytell Help Docs. There's 65 assets here. So go review Storytell Help Docs to understand. I'll pause this. So go review the help docs to understand more of Storytell's capabilities. So what are the help docs? Well, let me click on that label. So that label is based on a Google Drive connection. So we can see here that I've got Google Drive connected. I've got 2 folders selected. So one of the folders is Storytell Help Docs. And so that pulled all of our help docs into this project. And so this is a great way to use Google Drive integration and Storytell. I'm going to go ahead and open up one of these help docs. This is like an example of one of our help docs here. We auto label it with whatever the folder is called in Google Drive. So I didn't have to do all that labeling. It happens automatically. And so now I'm able to say, hey, go look at that and take this great answer. It's got a great answer here about what Storytell does and update it. So I'm going to go ahead and send this and let's see what happens. Now I've got a great answer from Storytell, and so here's what I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to copy this answer here and load it into a GitHub gist. I copied it as Markdown, and so now I've got all this information for a machine, for a large language model, for Storytell itself to understand how it works. And it's great because it's telling itself that it understands that it can handle up to 1 million rows per file of a CSV, etc. The next thing I'm going to do is load it up with use cases that it can handle so it understands that about itself as well. And of course, I'm using Storytell to build those use cases. This is based on real-world use cases, how users are actually using Storytell. It's creating effectively synthetic data of use cases of how people can use Storytell. And so, this is just really great examples of how to use Storytell. And so I want Storytell to understand that about itself. And it's doing it by persona type, so like sales and marketing teams, for example, or customer success, marketing, finance, product, executives. So first of all, I'm going to add this into project knowledge so that I've got this in the project to use it since this is a marketing and product marketing project. I will also just label it with a use cases label. So I'll show you how to do that. Just say add label here, and then I'll say Storytell use cases. Add a label for that. Give it a whatever I want to kind of give it here. Okay, looks good. I'll also download this so that I can drop it into the Substack in case you want to actually read these use cases. But then I'm also going to copy this again as Markdown, so I can copy it as Markdown here, and I will add it into my gist. So this is in here now, and I'm going to update this. Okay, great. So now I've got this file, this gist file, and now we need to have Storytell use it. Now part of this is going to be for us to introduce this into our system instructions, but it doesn't have to just be that. I can actually start to use this right away. I'll show you how. So let's say that I'm going in to talk to Netflix, and I want to help them understand their business as well as what Storytell can do to help them. So what I've got here is a prompt that is going to do a couple of things. It's going to do what I call a SWOT++. So that's going to be an analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis of Netflix. But you can see here that I'm telling Storytell that there's a special page that you can go to learn all about the capabilities of Storytell. So I'm actually putting that into my prompt. Now the more elegant thing to do here is to put it into the system instructions, which we will do, but I'm going to start using this right away. So this is an example of how you can reference something in a prompt, have Storytell go out and learn about whatever that thing is, and then use it in its answer. In fact, if I open up the task list to see everything that Storytell is choosing to do here, we can see that it's choosing to go out and learn about Storytell's capabilities, just like I asked it to, in addition to going out and learning about Netflix and everything else. This is one of my favorite prompts, if not my favorite prompt, because it is now identifying ways that Storytell can help Netflix. And so it's basically going out, it's finding recent news like the Warner Brothers acquisition, and then it is finding ways based on this gist that I made, this document that I made about Storytell's capabilities, to propose how Storytell can help Netflix. And that's just, really, really cool. It helps me go in and have a conversation that's very data-driven. Also, this is a great SWOT analysis. I'll just take a second while I'm here and I'm happy to share this prompt publicly. If you want it, ask me for it. But let me just show you what's great about this prompt. Not only does this prompt share ways that Storytell can support a company like Netflix, but it provides 3 recommended areas of focus for the company here. It also provides 3 wild ideas to explore, now, next, and then future, as well as often a bonus idea. And then it not only does a regular SWOT analysis, so strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but it creates 4 tables. And one of the tables is double down. So these are strengths and opportunities combined. And so Storytell chooses a strength, internal strength, and an external opportunity, and then gives an insight, an action plan, and a risk based on doing something with this strength and opportunity. And so it'll do this. It'll give at least 5 of these. That's the first table. The next table, it's going to pair an internal strength with an external threat. These are called fixable threats because it's an internal strength of the company, but it's an external threat. And so it'll give 5 of these insights, action plans, and risks. The next section, as you can imagine, is an inaccessible opportunity. So this is an internal weakness paired up with an external opportunity. And so there's all sorts of examples here. So 5 of those. And then the last one it's going to make is an existential threat. So this is an internal weakness with an external threat. So these are, it's just a very powerful analysis. Okay, so as this thing finishes building out, let's just talk a little bit about what we did. We first took some internal data. So this was linear CSV data. And we loaded that into Storytell to be able, and we also loaded in through a Google Drive integration a bunch of documentation about Storytell so that we could create a markdown file that serves as system instructions for Storytell, the system, to understand itself. Then I'm showing you here how I'm able to take that and I'm able to have Storytell leverage that in a prompt so that it can then take a bunch of external web data, a bunch of searching about a company like Netflix, combined with a prompt and what it knows about itself from that link, and then propose ways that it can add value to a company like Netflix. So, and this is also something that I can download as a PDF or whatever type of format here. I could even ask Storytell to create a presentation based on this, but here's what the PDF looks like. I'll share this in the Substack. So yeah, amazing to be able to take internal data and remix, enhance, augment it with external data to get output like this. Hope that's helpful. Ciao.